Alright guys, hope we're really excited about this upcoming international window. First up we've got South Korea. Actually, I'm just going to check they're coming. So you guys do a couple of laps and I'll get them on the phone. Hold on. Don't want the African situation again. Yep, just some laps, guys. Alright. How do you say, do you speak English? Dancing.
안녕.
안녕하세요. Dancing. Do you speak English?
Yes.
Oh, you do. Great. Okay. Look, we've had some teams cancel us in the past. It's Shaun here from New Zealand, the manager. You guys are still coming to New Zealand to play us in this upcoming window, aren't you?
Yes. You still want us?
Yes. We'd love to have you here. No, that's great. We just want to make sure that you're coming because we've had some teams that haven't actually shown up for the games in the past. So that's great. Look, we look forward to welcoming you.
Amazing.
Yep.
We look forward to beating you.
Yeah. I'm not too sure about the you beating us part, but just make sure you get here. You'll enjoy North Harbour Stadium. It's one of the real crown gems in New Zealand.
감사합니다.
Okay. 감사합니다. Thank you. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 66 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both Cashmere Tech and with the All Whites. And coming up today, we've got games with both of those teams. First up, a championship phase game of the National League where we take on the Northern League Champions Manurewa away from home. So that one will include a bus trip, and then off the back of taking on Wellington Olympic, we'll take on South Korea in the first of two big international friendlies in the November window with the All Whites. So if you're looking forward to those two games coming up in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yesterday we took on Guinea with the All Whites and also played the Chatham Cup final against Eastern Suburbs. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. First off, going to cover off the Cashmere technical stuff, obviously, because that's really all we've done off the back of yesterday's episode. We've played 3 games and picked up 3 wins. Most importantly, we picked one up against Auckland City. 3-1 there at the GMP with goals there to El Ghazali, Justin Keys and Lorenzo Johnson just after halftime. Did bounce back from a pretty debatable early penalty that we did give away in that game, which Jordan Evans did put away. But in the end, a very comfortable win. So thankfully, continuing some good form here at Cashmere Technical since we did switch to the New Zealand Gegenpress and also picked up comfy wins. 4-1 over Christchurch United and 3-1 over Eastern Suburbs. Yet again, that one a lot closer than the Chatham Cup final, but still did pick up 3 points, which does mean currently perfect record in this championship phase of the National League. And we're 5 points clear of both Western Suburbs and Auckland City. So hopefully a few more wins during the course of today's episode should be enough for us to book our place in the National League Grand Final, with of course only 9 games that we do play before we get to that game. So looking quite good to make the final again here in the championship phase of the National League. The only downside to that most recent run that we have had is Xavier Smith, our new first choice left back, did pick up an injury, sprained ankle ligaments that he did suffer, I believe. That was during the game against Auckland City. He is out for another 4 to 6 days. It does mean he'll be missing for this first game in today's episode, and obviously the second game is with the All Whites. Hopefully he'll be back in time for the National League Grand Final, which hopefully we can show you guys in tomorrow's episode alongside the Soccer Ashes, where we do take on Australia. So it does mean Xavier Smith is unavailable for this clash against Manurewa, who, as I said, actually the Northern League Champions. They beat Auckland City to that title in that first part of the season. In the championship phase, they're not quite doing as well, but definitely a team worth respecting, especially as this one is away from home at Memorial Park. Actually better check here if this venue is a real one. Looks like it might be. I'll just double check actually on Google to make sure we can do a bus trip.
A few moments later.
And indeed it is a real place. To be fair, I didn't think I'll be covering off Manurewa in the National League Championship phase, because to be fair, they're a club who I don't think are usually that hot, but certainly think they're doing a bit better here than they are in real life. So before we come back for the first game in today's episode, it is time for a bus trip. And seeing as this game is being played up in Auckland, we do need a hotel, seeing as we're going up there the night before, and yet again we are going to the Novotel Auckland in Ellerslie. We've stayed at this one a few times, both with the All Whites and with Cashmere Tech these days, not too far away from the ground. We're going to stay here, a nice reliable place with no construction nearby, but it does mean we're already going to have seen a bit of this bus trip, because if you look at the route here towards War Memorial Park, which is where we're playing, not actually called Memorial Park. That's why I got a bit confused as to whether it was a real ground. We're going past things yet again like Cornwall Park, Alexandra Park, Auckland Showgrounds, and some other stuff, so I think don't actually need to do all of this bus trip. Might pick off there when we turn left around the Mount Eden Motel, so it might not be the longest bus trip, this one, in terms of what we show you guys, even though it's 15 minutes long and 7.5 kilometers, because I think from around that point we start to look at some new stuff. Otherwise might be quite similar to bus trips we've done in the past to grounds like Mount Smart and also Kuatia Street, so it's going to be a bit of a truncated bus trip, this one, because as I said, pretty sure you've seen quite a bit of this one before, as we'll make our way to War Memorial Park. So this is where we'll start things off on this bus trip, just getting up here to that Mount Eden Hotel on the right hand side. So here we're going to turn left at Balmoral Road, and that should take us down Mount Eden Road. I actually think we might have gone down here before as well, but we don't want to skip everything on the bus trip as there is Eden Court. We'll go down here a bit and see if anything interesting does pop up on our way to this ground. And we're going a decent chunk here down Mount Eden Road, and as you can see on the right hand side, starting to go past some food and whatnot that hopefully we can make the most of on our way to the ground. There you can see this espresso bar, Ivy and Bean. Also there's a little grocer and some wild wheat specialty bread. I did think somewhere around here there was a dumpling shop, so I'll see if we can find that one. Maybe it's down here just a little bit more. That looks like it might be the one. We have some dumplings on our way here to take on Manurewa. Also there's a dairy if we need ice cream or a lotto ticket. We'll keep going here and see what pops up next. And just starting to realise here as we're making our way towards the next right turn, pretty sure we've already done this chunk of the bus trip as well, because coming up there is the BP with cheese on toast. I'm pretty sure we've covered that off in the past, maybe on our way to Kuatia Street, I think it was. So this does look like it's actually quite a similar bus trip, this one. So we'll go down here a bit further and actually see if we can get to some areas that might be a bit newer. And coming towards the end now of Landscape Road, I think we might have gone past this area as well on a previous bus trip. We need to here take a left-hand turn, go past this fruit and veggie shop. Now I think before we might have taken a right not too long after. This time actually just continue straight. So maybe this is where things do get a bit different as we go past places like a higher pool and also the liquor shop and Hell Pizza. To be fair, that could also be a good option. Definitely one of the better pizza outlets here in New Zealand. But going down the road a bit further, we've got a Marco Polo roast. I'm not too sure what a Marco Polo roast is. Maybe you go swimming for it or something. But going past a few shops here, and we'll see what else pops up here as we should be getting a bit closer towards the ground for this game as we do take on the champions of the Northern League. It's Dominion Road as well. Cracking song, that one. A little bit old these days, but still it's a banger. We'll go down here a bit further and just see when we need to do something in terms of making a turn. On the left hand side here, got a Jardin supermarket, which apparently has everything that a supermarket would. That must be somewhat of an Asian supermarket, I'm guessing. We'll go down the road here a bit further, go past the Caltex and whatnot, and eventually should have to make a turn at some point to continue making our way to War Memorial Park. And I tell you what, there's endless food opportunities here on this bus trip to this park, because now we've just made our way past a Burger King. And if we continue going down the road a little bit further, even more food once I find exactly what it was, because it popped up there on the little map. We are now going past some Asian restaurants, it looks like. Tangdu style restaurant. I think somewhere as well there is a place called Tupsi. Not too sure what Tupsi is, but it's popping up on Google, so it must be half decent. And now it's time for us to depart Dominion Road. We're going to take a left-hand turn here at the traffic lights. I think it's a left-hand turn. Actually, I lights a right-hand turn. We're going down this road past the Christian store and going down here a bit further, and yet again, this time I think we're taking a left-hand turn once we go down this road just a little bit more. I think we're going here where these cars are turning down. we want to go past that big truck and make our way down May Road, as that will take us into the entrance for War Memorial Park, which is the home of Manurewa AFC. We'll see if we can spot the entrance, or if we drive past it kind of like we did back at Selwyn United a little while ago. I think it's coming up here on the right hand side. It's starting to look like a bit of a park there. We'll just see if we can get a look at the entrance, if there is one. I think it might be coming up here on the right hand side. There we go, into the car park, and that looks like it might be the club rooms of Manurewa AFC. We'll just see if we can see any signs that that is the case. Not too sure we can. Let's just see if we can zoom in a little bit more. It might actually be something a little bit different. So we'll actually see if we can go here through the car park. Indeed we can. Let's see if they have a club rooms anywhere in this area. Doesn't look like that's the case. I can't see any sort of club rooms here for Manurewa, but apparently this is where they do play their games, at the War Memorial Park, and there you can see what it does look like. But obviously at the moment it is in rugby/rugby league mode. We'll see if we can pick some other photos out which might show it better when there's a footy game on. And Google Maps must have sent me down the wrong entrance there, because now we actually found our way to Manurewa AFC. There's the club rooms. It's not the prettiest looking club rooms, but to be fair, it's double tiered. Got a bit of a stand there next to the football pitch. There's the pitch itself. No goals up there are obvious. In fact, yes, there is. Just need to zoom in a bit more. There you go. There's the number one ground there at War Memorial Park, where we're going to be playing this game. In today's episode, we'll just see if we actually get some better views here of the ground itself, seeing as we've now actually found it. There's what it looks like. Kind of, honestly, that's not the best photo. That one might be a little bit better, but to be fair, neither of them are too great. But there's the bus trip to Manurewa. Apologies, didn't actually realise covering off quite as much stuff as we have done in previous bus trips. But hopefully we can pick up a win and go a long way towards securing a spot in that National League final. And here are the team sheets for this clash between the Northern League Champions and the Southern League Champions. They are Manurewa, not too great a form since they have got on to this championship phase. They are going with a 4-3-3. We're putting out our best 11, apart from the fact that Barisic is in for the injured Smith at left back, but hopefully can pick up another win. And as I said, that should take us a pretty long way towards making the National League Grand Final. And just past the 5-minute mark, we get the first proper highlight of this game. Before there was a chance there for Manurewa where they hit the post, and also their striker was offside. But early stages, they might actually be the team here on the front foot. They actually do our man there in Louis Enrique, and he does a poor clearance once he wins the ball back. Chance there for one of their players with a bit of a difficult name, at short glance anyway, but thankfully that one goes just wide. But early stages, Manurewa in the blue with the yellow shorts will be pretty much the exact opposite. They are on the front foot here, which is a bit concerning. And Lidicote makes his way down the right-hand side, tries to pass that one into the mixer. It gets blocked, and now good interception that from Keat. And a chance for us here to get on the counter-attack. Shusha makes his way down the left-hand side, just tries to size his man up there. Doesn't fit pace, but then floats the ball far post, and no one is really there anticipating that well. And a chance here for Manurewa on the counter-attack through Cook Choi, the man who had that shot from that previous highlight. Now Slaughtermaker will cut inside. Jorgovski plays that one forward, and now Bobadilla does get in behind and actually forces a half-decent save out of Hawkins. Going to demand more early, because this is a pretty bad start, not ideal against a half-decent team, albeit they are down there on the National League Championship table. And yet again, Cook Choi will force a good save there out of Hawkins. To be fair, that one did pretty much go straight into his path. But early stages, we are definitely on the back foot in this game. Again, they take the corner to the edge of the box, and Hawkins again is forced to tip that one over the crossbar and onto the top of the net. And that is the end of that highlight. But early stages, Manurewa are all over us. Thankfully, still 0-0. And with 10 minutes to go in the first half, we are finally on the attack really for the first time in this game. A corner in our favour. Justin Keat off the back of picking up a yellow card floats that one near post, and Georgios Victoros will somehow give us a 1-0 lead in this game. I say somehow, leapt like a salmon, as he usually does. It's a header, and if you're the Manurewa manager, you'll be feeling a bit dirty about that one, because up until then, they were definitely the team on the front foot, but somehow we might go into half-time here with a 1-0 lead. Indeed we will, but certainly not playing that well at all. XG is in favour of the home team, but thankfully set pieces do rescue us, and we are 1-0 in front. We'll take off Justin Keat on that yellow card for Gil Paquette, especially as he'll be back in the all-white squad for this upcoming window. Also, just make sure that he'll ease off tackles. But think here, we might be able to give the guys a little bit of a rev up at half-time, because honestly, that first half wasn't too great. We'll put the hands on hips and tell them need to hit the target more often, because pretty poor first half, but thankfully, we're 1-0 in front. And early stages of the second half, you think Manurewa might be on the front foot. It's a free kick here in their favour, but thankfully we can head that one away, and Barisic might get us here on the counter-attack. Louis Henrique has picked up a very early yellow card in this half, so maybe a couple of early subs here as now Shusha makes his way down the left-hand side, tries to play that one back across the face of goal. Unfortunately, it gets cut out, but then we win it back there and make our way into the final third. Henrique, he starts to make his way here into the box, takes on a shot, but it's a pretty average one straight into the path of the Manurewa goalkeeper. And I think now we have to make our last couple of subs, because of course Louis Henrique is our second under 20 player, so because that Connor Kerwin will have to come on, we'll bring him on for McGoldrick, and it'll be Julian Pike coming on for Henrique. That's all our subs used quite early in the second half with a 1-0 lead. And 10 minutes into the second half, we get the next highlight in this game, and finally might be starting to put the foot down in this one, getting a few more highlights in our favour, it looks like, in this half. Shusha starts to cut inside, takes on the shot, but again, it's a pretty poor one, straight to the path of the Manurewa goalkeeper. Still 1-0 Cashmere. And we go forward 10 minutes from that previous highlight, and a good win there down our left-hand side, and hopefully we might be able to grab a cushion goal, albeit Manurewa certainly will feel like they deserve an equaliser based on what we saw, especially in the early stages of this game. But now we find Julian Pike fresh off the bench there down that right-hand side, starts to make his way forward, and we make our way into the final third. Shocking work there from the Manurewa goalkeeper. He was marking there, I think it was Al Ghazali. It falls to Janssen, heads it home into pretty much an open net, and there's our cushion goal. And if you're the Manurewa manager, you'll be steaming at that effort from your goalkeeper, because they have been right in this game, but a couple of mistakes in terms of the aerial defence does mean that we take a 2-0 lead with 20 minutes left. And just making our way into the last 5 minutes of this game, fair to say it's been a game of few highlights. In early stages, we're actually quite lucky to keep the scoreline at 0-0. Some good early work there from Josh Hawkins. Thankfully, Georgios Victoros from a corner, then Lorenzo Janssen from a ball from Pike, which thankfully their goalkeeper didn't read too well, and that is the reason that we pick up a 2-0 win. Certainly on performance, not one of our best efforts since we have switched to the gegenpress. You can kind of see why Manurewa might have won Northern League. They pushed us a bit closer there, I think, than someone like Auckland City did, but it's a 2-0 win away from home, and that should stand us in good stead now to make the final of this championship phase. We'll go forward now, take on Wellington Olympic, before getting stuck in to some all-whites action as we take on South Korea. Albeit before we get forward to the Wellington Olympic game, as you can see, we've just been offered a job interview from Adelaide United. We got offered a job interview, I think it was going to the start of this 2030 season, it was a while ago now, with the World Cup taking up a bit of time this year, but that interview was from the Melbourne Victory. Obviously going to turn this down, but interesting to see that A-League clubs are still into us. Of course, we mentioned it during the World Cup, that registration bug has been fixed, so maybe if an Auckland or a Wellington do come after us, going to have a bit of a decision to make, albeit still can't do stuff like the Club World Cup with those teams that we can do here at Cashmere Technical. But Adelaide United after us, but we'll turn them down. And we've gone forward about to take on South Korea in the first friendly in this November international window with the All-Whites. Before then we did take on Wellington Olympic with Cashmere Technical. Somehow this was a 0-0 draw, even though Wellington Olympic did absolutely nothing in this game. And even worse, Gil Paquette, he actually picked up an injury and he is out for 2 months with a torn back muscle. That might be the last game he actually plays for us here at Cashmere Technical, because his contract is coming up. And in that most recent international window where we did beat Guinea, he got his first cap for Angola, scored 2 goals. So I dare say they'll keep selecting him off the back of that. So maybe that's a foreign spot that we can free up, which is a bit annoying because he's a really good player. But if he's not going to be able to play for the All Whites, might be time to let him go alongside someone like Justin Keat. Maybe that right wing is an area that we can look to get some foreigners who could make their way into the All Whites in a few years' time, who are hopefully from some stronger nations than Angola, because that kind of backfired there with Gil Paquette, but he's probably gone now for the rest of the season, and also, I imagine, rest of the save unless we take him on if we do play Angola with the All Whites. But going into this upcoming international window, we're taking on two teams who are above us on the world rankings. Unfortunately, scheduled a fitness friendly, same time, same day with Cashmere Tech, but we are taking on South Korea. This one is from North Harbour Stadium. We have done a bus trip there before, also in Auckland, but South Korea haven't done that well the last couple of World Cups, at least in terms of what I've seen in game, especially these days without players like Kyungmin Son as we are in 2030. They're equal 34 from the world, so not too far above us. So certainly this is a team at home that hopefully we can get the better of. And the last international window, they drew with Australia. That's our next opponent we'll come back for in tomorrow's episode, where we do take them on for the Soccer Ashes. Hopefully can build some confidence here with a win over the Tiger Warriors. I actually thought their nickname was the Tigers. Apparently not. That shows how much I know about the nation that my wife's from. That's a bit of a concern, but hopefully this is a game that we can win going into taking on a higher ranked opponent in Australia for a trophy, even though it's not actually there in game. In terms of our squad going into this upcoming international window, one change. Last window, Cullen Elliott was our backup right back. This time, Victor Sono has better attributes, young 18-year-old from the Wellington Phoenix. So I think that's a move that we might make a bit more permanent going forward, especially if he continues to grow. So Victor Sono, a new right back in the squad. And to be fair, we should probably start him because Darman isn't quite on a full green heart. Apart from that, it is our best 11. We've got players back like Justin Keat after that under-23 selection, which I pulled him out of, kept him out of that window in yesterday's episode, and also coming back Cornelius Beale and George McDonald. Unfortunately, Ulisse is injured, our backup striker. That means that the Wayne train keeps his spot in the squad, but apart from that, it's pretty much our best squad that we can put out there for this window, where hopefully we can pick up some decent results and continue to make our way up the rankings and maybe inside of the top 40, but we'll come back shortly and hopefully get the job done over South Korea. And here are the team sheets for this clash against South Korea. You saw our team before, just Sono in there at right back. Otherwise, this would be our best 11. And here are South Korea. They are going with a 4-3-3 to be fair. They're not in good form at all, so hopefully this is a team that we can beat going in to that clash with Australia. And it hasn't taken long here for the first highlight of this game. It's a goal kick there to South Korea, who are in the red, and Kelly will kind of look to control that. It looked like he was trying to find there, I think it was Beale, but unfortunately that pass doesn't quite find the mark, and South Korea with a chance here, and Hyung Suk does get in behind, and Alex Paulson there somehow gets beaten near post by Young Kang, and they make it 1-0 early to South Korea. That was not part of the plan. I think here Victor Sono up a bit too far. Then a couple of men there can get in behind our defence. Tyler Bindon comes out to try and help, but still, that's not too great from us. And Alex Paulson should not be getting beaten that close in at his near post. He almost could have come out and claimed that one. Not a good start. We are 1-0 down early. Albeit not too off the back of that opening goal. South Korea there try and lump a ball forward, and thankfully we can control and hopefully look to make our way here out from the back. Tyler Bindon will find Cornelius Beale back in the squad after missing that previous window through injury, but to be fair, didn't hurt us too much, seeing as we only played the one game. That's a nice ball there for McDonald, for Jamie Kelly. That was a sitter, but it comes off the post. Big chance for us there to equalise, but still 1-0 behind, albeit only a few minutes later. There's a free kick in our favour. Kelly Heald gets it back and eventually plays that one forward to Liberato Kakache. Now Cornelius Beale quite fortunately gets that ball back there, a pass which nearly got cut out. Sono, he will find the Cashmere Tech man, and Justin Keat Sono picks up an assist on debut. Kind of makes up for some iffy defensive work for that first goal, which we did concede, but thankfully not behind for too long here at the North Harbour Stadium. Good ball in there for Justin Keat. This time we hit the target and make it 1-1. And just before half-time, we do get one more highlight in this first half. It's a free kick there to South Korea. Kelly heads that down to Sono, and good work there from Justin Keat to get that ball. Look like a big chance there to release Pickering. Eventually we do, but not quite on the counter-attack as much as it would have been if he played that past just one touch sooner. So potentially did just blow there a good chance on the counter-attack, but thankfully still in position. As you can see, a few players now have picked up yellow cards, so maybe going to make some changes here. At half-time, George McDonald nearly puts that one away, but unfortunately it comes off the woodwork, and South Korea do get a chance there to kind of clear their lines. Sono wins that ball back, but the highlight ends. Lots of extra time here in the first half. Jamie Kelly did go down to red heart after picking up a yellow card, so a couple of subs here I think I'm going to make at half-time. Not the best performance, actually. South Korea definitely the team on the front foot based on stats. Even though that goal they scored, I thought we could have dealt with it a bit better, but 1-1 I think we'll take that considering not playing that well. We'll take off the players here on yellow cards. That means Curtis at centre-back for Kelly Heald. We'll bring Adam White on for Kakache and Jay Herdman for Jamie Kelly. But definitely think our guys need to improve in the second half, as it's 1-1 against South Korea.
Yeah.
And 40 seconds into the second half, going to be forced here into an early substitution in the second half. Thankfully, got 6 in these windows, but Victor Sono on debut, he is off the field. Martin Daman will come on for him. And just about to make our way now up to the hour mark, and I think it's time for us here to make our last couple of substitutions. Actually, was going to take off Beal and Pickering on ratings less than a 6.5. We'll definitely take off Pickering on a 6.3, but probably smarter to take off Evans on a red heart for Joe Bell. That will be our last couple of subs, as it's still 1-1. While we're here, might also just try and play a little bit wider, just see if that gets us going a bit more late on in this game as we try and beat South Korea. And making our way forward to the 69-minute mark for the first proper highlight here of the second half of thrown inside of the final third. Sloan Rodriguez tries to play that one over the top. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper in Si Zhong can claim that one. He pumps it deep. Hopefully Curtis here can win it in the air. Indeed he does, and picks out Michael Cornelius Beal. Now White plays that for to Sloan Rodriguez. That one goes off like a traction engine from someone's kneecap. It was some deflection, that one, from a pass played ball, but thankfully we do keep hold of possession, albeit deep inside of our own half, but thankfully it doesn't take us long to make our way into the box. Lovely ball that from Damon for McDonald, but he misses the target. That's now a couple of really good chances that we've blown in this game. Jamie Kelly in the first half and George McDonald then. It's still 1-1, about to make our way into these last 10 minutes. I think it's now time for us to go more attacking like we did at the World Cup. We won't quite go liberos because we tend to do that in games that are knockouts, but we're going to put our wing backs and our wingers all on attack. Also, might shorten the passing as well. That did help late on when we took on Brazil and came from behind in extra time. Distribute the fullbacks, also play a high defensive line and get Joe Bell to go on to support, and hopefully those changes might help us grab a winner. And only a few minutes on from making those changes, the highlight does start here and we try and make our way up from the back. Nice ball for there to Darman. Plays it infield to Joe Bell off the bench. Cornelius Beal tries to pick out there Sloan Rodriguez. Unfortunately, a poor option to head that one forward, but rather fortunately does get that one back. Herdman gets the ball here on the edge of the box, but gets brought down there by Si Woo, and it's a penalty. Let's hope this time we can put it away. Off the back of that might go positive, because hopefully we'll put this away. George McDonald really missed a big chance here. In the second half, the goalkeeper went the right way, but thankfully, the penalty gets tucked away. We take a 2-1 lead late. Off the back of that, drop to positive. We might stay wider, keep all that stuff in terms of in possession the same, but we'll drop Justin Keat back to support, Joe Bell back to defence, and Adam White back to support. So our usual roles will continue to distribute to the fullbacks, but we'll drop our defensive line back to standard. So a couple of changes there off the back of taking the lead, and also we should actually probably start to time waste a little bit and be more disciplined to hopefully pick up a win here over opposition who are a little higher ranked than us, but thankfully get a bit of a lead off there through a penalty, and George McDonald picks up an EIEI goal. Off the back of that, we're getting shown an offside for some reason. Definitely offside there from George McDonald. Not too sure why we're seeing that. I think we're just being sport the next highlight in this game. We'll just see what's going on. My play button is staying play instead of pause, but win the ball there through Martin Daman. Maybe this was a chance for us here to make it 3-1 off the back of that penalty. Cornelius Beal played it forward to McDonald. Not too sure actually what's going on here with this highlight, if it's one that we've just seen the offside for, but Curtis off the back of that clearance from South Korea. Now Bindon, Joe Bell will play a ball over the top. That's where George McDonald was offside. Puts it away nicely, but the goal won't count. Still 2-1 with 5 minutes left. And now that things are sorted out off the back of that weird highlight where we saw the offside before the actual highlight, now we're making our way into 5 minutes of added time, still holding on here to this 2-1 lead. And we're making our way now into the final minute of this game. Herdman on the ball starts to make his way inside the box yet again. Some good individual work there, and actually forces a good save there out of their goalkeeper. They're making a very late sub here, South Korea, but hopefully this means they camp inside their final third for these last couple of minutes and pick up a win over them before a big game against Australia first up in tomorrow's episode. Joe Bell takes his time over this corner. Will float this one far post. A few guys there, and Simon Curtis will head that one home. That makes the scoreline a bit more flattering than it probably deserves to be with it coming from behind in this game, conceding that kind of soft goal quite early on, but thankfully we scored in the first half through Justin Keat, and second half goals from the penalty spot to George McDonald and also to Simon Curtis. Pretty even game stats wise, but thankfully we just do enough late to come from behind and pick up a 3-1 win over South Korea. So a bit of a screechy start there in that friendly against South Korea, but thankfully come from behind there to pick up a 3-1 win. Very interestingly, Brazil again lose to a team quite far below them on the world rankings. This time Australia beat them. That makes things very interesting going into that clash for the soccer ashes in tomorrow's episode, but we pick up a good win there, 3-1. As I said, a bit of a rough start, but thankfully bounced back nicely late on once we did make those changes, go a bit more attacking before we did pick up that penalty, which thankfully George McDonald did put away. Sono is injured with a twisted ankle. Let's see if it's a red injury. Indeed it is, so I think Callan Elliott might be coming into that squad for that second friendly for tomorrow's episode. He'll make his way back in, but unfortunate that one, as Sono did pick up an assist on his debut, but certainly someone who could be in the All Whites team for a little while we try and find a decent foreign right back who hopefully we can get to qualify for the All Whites in 5 years' time, because that definitely is a bit of a weak area in our squad for this next World Cup cycle, albeit a bit too late now to change that for only 3.5 years' time. Joe Bell picks up man of the match, but 2 good wins there in today's episode. And also forgot to mention, the reason we actually showed you guys that result with Wellington Olympic is because the other results on that match day did help us out, because we already qualified for the final. Auckland City, they drew with Eastern Suburbs, so it's actually looking like could be a Cashmere Technical, the Western Suburbs final coming up in the National League Grand Final, something a bit different, albeit did beat Western Suburbs not too long ago with a full rotation prior to the Chatham Cup final. But that will do it for today's episode. As I said, 2 good wins, and we are qualified for the National League Grand Final. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. We'll come back tomorrow and finish off this 2030 season. We'll start off with that friendly against Australia for the soccer ashes, and off the back of that we'll play the National League Grand Final. It'll be against one of Western Suburbs or Auckland City. Looks like Western Suburbs might be in the box seat. We'll just see who they take on. Wellington Olympic, that's not a given. Auckland City, they take on Manurewa, also not a given, so that could be a bit interesting, but we'll definitely be playing one of those 2 teams in that final in tomorrow's episode, and also hopefully get through stuff like the end of season review. So until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.